Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check the new supporter that we receive in the game, and it's Kururi. Okay, so yeah, Kururi is the new supporter that we have. She's a permanent supporter. If you want to roll for her, it's fine, but you can also get her in the future. This is the drop rate right now. And remember that we already got also Sayaneo. She has been added into the pool, which is great. With time we'll see which other characters get added into the pool. But right now we're going to focus on Kururi. So what is the deal with her? Is she that important? Well, kinda. Is not required by any means, but she is strong, definitely. So, it says, every time an enemy dies, increase damage against all enemies by 4%, that's going to be 8% when max out, for 90 seconds at a 50% chance. So it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get this boost, but if there are tons of mobs, you're going to activate it eventually. So do not worry about that part. Stack up to 7 times. And then increase damage against boss by 7%. So in total you're gonna get around 80%, because this is 14 and this is 8. 8 times 7, that's gonna be, let me check. I'm not that great at math. It's 56, I think. 60, 70. Let me double check that just in case. So yeah, it's 8 times 7. Yeah, it's 70. It's a 70% damage increase. So yeah, it is strong. Most supporters go to 30. Most supporters go to 30% damage increase. Some go to 40, like Arbel. Some go to 50, and those are pretty rare. Like, I don't know. Let me check. Some supporters like Misaki. Some other supporters like manage to get to great lengths, but not exactly 50%, like Lena and Asagao. But a supporter that surpasses the 50% mark, like Felicia, is pretty rare. And this one is the one that gives us the highest damage multiplier in the game. It's amazing. But there's a set of conditions that you need to take into consideration. It's not just this is great and that's it. For solo content, this is gonna be good because you're gonna be fighting against mobs. But if you're fighting a solo boss, and that's the only enemy in the stage, this is not gonna be useful. Number one. For everything else on solo content, this is great. Number two. On stages like VR, there's gonna be multiple targets, and you have to decide which if this is gonna be useful or not. For example, for human, this is not useful because there are multiple enemies. Yes, because Master Manning can create clones, but those clones are pretty chunky, and it's gonna take some time to actually stack this up. So don't take that into consideration. It's not gonna be useful for Master Manning. But for Queen Arachne, yes, it is useful, but when she has a ton, and I mean a very big amount of HP, you could lose the stacks. 90% is like a good amount of time, but believe me, sometimes you need more time when you're facing the highest floors of the higher steps of VR. So yeah, that's another thing to take into consideration. This will work perfectly on Machine and Queen Arachne. Machine is even better because the enemies are not dependent on the stage. On Queen Arachne, she has 3 HP bars, and each time her HP bar gets depleted, there are more enemies. And on the third wave of Queen Arachne, she's going to summon more enemies. But on Machine, they are going to constantly bring enemies into the into the stage, and you're going to constantly get this damage increase. So this is better on machine. It is usable or good on Queen Arachne, and it is terrible for Mass Taimanin. It is good for any other kind of stage as long as there is mobs, and yeah, that's kind of it for this one. The active doesn't matter. It is not unusable, but it isn't great either. Every 56 seconds, send out blue flames to up to to up to 5 enemies. Flames that reach the enemies near them for 5 seconds. So it is well, let's finish. And burn them at the spot, dealing damage over time. So it is not that great because it is not an AoE attack. These are bullets. These are missiles, whatever you want to call them. And they are going to hit only 5 enemies. If there are more than 5 enemies, they're not going to hit everyone. And these nerf the enemies for 5 seconds, unlike some other better supporters that is nerfed for 10 seconds or so. So yeah, the active is not that great. This you want to have on the passive so that you have a better active. Well, and that's not the only thing that you have to take into consideration when using this supporter. A very important aspect of using this supporter is what kind of character you are equipping it with and what kind of content you're tackling. It doesn't matter if you're facing solo content, because the enemies are going to target you. But if you're on VR and you're using a single target attacker, like for example Lena. Well, Lena is not a great example because she's mixed. She can be single target and she can be mixed. But this build that I have here is focused on single target damage, and it is not a good idea to use that supporter, to use Kururi, when you're doing single target damage, because you have to chase after the enemy and you're gonna be after not the enemy, after the mobs, and you're gonna be wasting time from the VR counter, so the timer. So it is not great to do that. You want characters with big AoEs, like Micah. Micah is an excellent option. Astaroth with Serpent Blaze is excellent. Even if you don't activate the colors, Serpent Blade is great. What else can be good? Nagi, just because of the basic attacks that can attack through the enemy. What else? Asuka can deal damage on big AoEs. So even Tokiko isn't great for dealing like AoE damage, but she has the targeting function on some of her skills, so she works. If you have either targeting, big AoE, that's gonna work. But if you don't, it's gonna be rough to increase those stacks, those damage stacks. So I'm gonna show you right now. I prepared like a ton of builds. Well, not a ton of builds. I prepared many characters. We're gonna start with Tokiko since she's already here. These are the supporters. Let me show you. I'm going to be using the weapon, which is not maxed out, but almost maxed out. I'm going to be using these Magatamas. These Magatamas are for every build. Fire, Anti-Demon Magatamas. So yeah, you can see everything here. And I'm going to be using the basic enhancer to have range attacks. I'm going to be using Fang because the weapon enhances Fang, and this also reduces the enemy's damage. And this one to reduce the defense of the enemy. So yeah, with the weapon I can reduce the defense of the enemy with Fang. That's an also, well, increased damage. So yeah, I'm gonna deal more damage. And I'm gonna be using Susune because I'm going to be debuffing the enemy. I'm going to be using Kururi to, to increase my damage. And Holy Knight Kirara. I need something that helps me out with basic attack damage, so I could be using Lilim, Gal Lilim, I could be using, not her, Stella, Baretta, not Yukina, but there are options. I could also be using a Nino or Granny because they increase range damage, and that's awesome. So yeah, let me show you the builds for the other two. They are not going to change, so I'm not going to analyze them further. She's gonna be tank, um, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, plus 14, plus 10, full HP, perfect Magatamas, and defensive Magatamas, whatever defensive Magatamas, Evil Strange, Vampiric Zone, Blood Side to recover HP. Then we have Heavy Coat to reduce the, well, to inflict a debuff on the enemy, and I want it on the main just to recover HP with Blood Side. Then Sakuya to reduce damage taken, and Felicia to increase my damage so that I recover more HP. Then we have Murasaki, which is gonna have the Rudolph Crusher, which is super important if you're facing Queen Arachne. I'm going to be using the Viridian Weapon, plus 14, plus 14, both of them. Anti-Demon with Ice and Water Magatamas, Great as Input, Tentacle Hold, Tentacle Mind, Minasaki to recover HP for the party, Ichika to deal more damage and also get damage reduction thanks to the poison, and Hisui. Yeah, that's it for this, but the important ones are gonna be the ones on the main, the ones that I'm going to pilot. So let's begin with Tokiko. I'm gonna be doing step 40 because I want to do it quickly, but I mean I was doing all of this testing actually in step 51. So yeah, it is just that I want to do this faster. That's why I'm not doing it there. I didn't have troubles with anyone. In fact, the HP that I have on my characters is the HP that I did after the test run. So you're not gonna see something like with low HP. Maybe Lena. So the idea is that you have to focus the mobs, and that's the problem. You don't want to focus mobs. You want to focus the Queen Arachne as much as possible. And that's exactly why you want someone with a big AoE to use your skills and just to defeat all the mobs without focusing them, just by inertia or something like that. Let's see. Yeah. So I already have 5 stacks and 7 stacks. So my damage is increased by 70% against Queen Arachne, which is super great. Okay, there. I like it. So now I just have to do a couple more. Perfect. Yeah. If you kill another enemy, you won't get another stack once you're maxed out, but you will definitely reset your timer. So don't worry about that. So yeah, as you can see, this works because Tokiko has the tracking function on her skill. She doesn't have a big AoE. She can hit the mobs without focusing them. That's the idea of using Tokiko. And she's super great because of the supportive role where she's going to reduce the defense of the enemy. Kind of like Shizuru. Super strong. Now, let me show you a character who doesn't perform well with this supporter. Like Shizuru! Look at this HP. That's why I say she doesn't perform well. Well, I mean, she of course isn't like tanky to begin with. But I'll use some potions. Just so that I don't die. Like 2 potions. And now, here we have the same Magatamas, my weapon, my other weapon. I'm not gonna dwell on everything. I'm gonna show it, but that's about it. This I didn't like. No, it wasn't this one. It was the other one. I do like the defense reduction, but I think that I'm going to change that. Increase damage, reduce damage taken. Yeah, I'm gonna change it for this. And here are the supporters. And well, let's test it. Last time, actually on her run, I think the Queen Arachne had damage reduction again her color, so that's why it was a little bit rough. So yeah, that's a problem. I have to focus everything. I have to go after each one of those mobs. Yes, I have to go after the mobs before I can start dealing damage to Queen Arachne. Come on. Come on! Yes. So now... And she is just too slow in my opinion. Okay. For this supporter, I mean. For the kind of interaction that it has. It's just not great. Okay. Did I get some stacks? No, I didn't! Oh! I killed... Oh, but maybe the maybe the ultis stole them. Okay. Yeah. So, let's see. Come on, come on, come on. Yes. Okay, 7 stacks. Nice. Yeah, that's what I don't like about using this supporter with Shizuru. Though Shizuru likes having color red, it is not the best idea to use this supporter. In fact, you would have to pilot her because she doesn't have such big AoEs. She has like medium-sized AoEs. It's not like having Micah. Micah is amazing. Another good one. Another good one. I don't think I'm gonna show everyone that I prepared. Let's go with Micah. And where's Micah? Here she is. There. It's this one. Yep. So for Micah, say Magatamas, 5 out of 5 plus 13, 5 out of 5 plus 13, whatever Magatamas. Death from above, brutal explosion, carpet bombing. All of these skills are amazing for this supporter, especially death from above because of the tracking function. I'm gonna be using this. I do use basic attacks because of the long cooldowns. So if you want to change these for, I don't know, for Stella, for Nino, for Granny, for Kirara, it's completely fine. Those are great options. So let's test it very quickly. The first thing that I'm gonna do is death from above. It's just that good. Oh my god. Damage reduction on all colors. Yeah, so I already have 2 stacks, as you can see. Death from above to deal damage. And yeah. 1, 2, death from above. Yeah, that's why I use this one. Come on, don't steal my stacks. Death from above. Yeah. Oh, why would you? There, 7. Okay. I can focus on Queen Arachne now. Yeah, a character like Micah is just great for this. And it's especially good on machine because of the size of the stage and the positioning that she takes, the stand that she takes. It is just great. This, if you try to do this by leaving Micah with the AI against Queen Arachne, I don't think she would perform as good as I am doing, and as good as she would do against Machine BR. It's just that some stages are better for range attackers. Yeah, super easy. Another one bad? Well, at least the build that I was doing was not ideal for this kind of gameplay. Another bad. Let's go with hair. Yeah, this one. This can be better if you omit this skill and use Cherry Blossom Frenzy and Unorthodox Storm Machine Ship Storm. Those two skills can actually be way better for using this supporter. But I'm going to show you the kind of gameplay that you don't want to do. I'm going to use Caja Hirako. I'm going to use this one, not enchanted by the way. Cherry Blossom Storm, Blinding Storm, Storm Drive. Actually, this one is not that great against Queen Arachne because how thick, fat she is. I mean, she is just too bulky. I cannot pass through with my attack, which usually deals damage. So when the enemy is too bulky, then you cannot recover HP as intended. Here are the supporters, and well, let's see why I say that this is not that great. Even though Lena is super strong, it just, this is not the right build for this. Definitely, I'm gonna keep trying to see if I can make Lena work with this. On solo levels, she's gonna be amazing, of course. But here with the mobs and there, this other skill and this one, you see, I cannot pass through. I wish the boss counted, or I don't know if the boss counts. I have never seen the timer go. Well, not the timer, the stacks go up when defeating the boss. So let's see here, another one. One more stack, come on. One more stack, come on, there. And there it is. So reduce the defense and let the ulti hit, and then dash attack to deal a huge amount of damage. And then I do this, and then I do dash attack. Yeah, I mean, she's strong, of course, but chasing after the enemies, that's something that you don't want to do. You want auto-targeting, big AoEs, something like that. There. Nice. So of course I can do this, I can deal with it, but the idea of showing this kind of gameplay is to show which are better at dealing with these enemies and using this supporter. Here I have Asuka. Asuka is good depending on how you build her. I'm gonna be using HP recovery with this weapon, and oddly enough, this weapon that is 5 out of 5 plus 2 gives me more stat than a plus 15 but 3 out of 5. So yeah, I mean, kill them all missiles, bomb escape, you're gonna see why. A good AoE, by the way, that's a good reason to use this. The good AoE is excellent. And I'm also using Spiral Blast. I almost didn't use it because I was too strong and I kept the enemy down. So I'm gonna change it to Rendering Storm, which I don't like because it can get interrupted. But I'm not facing the machine, so it is okay to use it. I don't have like I'm not facing too much knockback here. And I'm using Astaroth, that's why this supporter is really, really strong. The problem is applying burn. If you had a dedicated team to applying burn, this would be awesome. Uh, but burn doesn't last that much. I'm gonna try different strategies using this in the future. But it's 30% damage increase. Obviously, this is gonna give me 42% damage increase, and this one. So big damage increase. These are the skills as you saw, and the weapon. And let's test it. I know it works, but you, I don't know. The awakening skill is kind of weird. That's the only thing. I start by doing the explosion. Then I focus everyone. Nice. I didn't change the spiral. Oops. That's not... I was trying to do the missiles and they were not launching and I was like, what's happening? Why doesn't the... yeah, kill them all missiles. Yeah, I need that skill, unfortunately. The tracking capability is super important when using the supporter. Yeah, there we go. Again, so there. Okay, 2 stacks. Burn. Damage increase on burn. And my attacks also have a chance to inflict burn, but as you can see, I'm not gonna be having that damage increase all of the time. So yeah, let's see. 4 stacks. 6 stacks. Okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's up with the fire magatamas, but I don't feel like it's 20% chance to inflict the burn. It feels like it's less. Okay. Come on. There. Breaking the super armor. It's just too busted. Uh-huh. Nice, 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 nice. So yeah, as you see, it is pretty good to have this supporter, but there's too many things that you have to keep in mind and just put in place to use this supporter properly and get the most value out of it. I mean, it is not difficult, it's just things to keep in mind, and there's places where this is better than other options. Here, where is she? Oh my god, don't tell me that I didn't save it? Okay, oh. Let me think. Asuka. I just take this away and I go back to this one. I have more Magatamas. I'll use the mouse here. This one, this one, this one, and this one. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, plus 15, both of them. And here, originally I was using Asteroid, but I'm going to change it because you see that this supporter, yeah, the effect is great, but you really need to put together a strategy that focuses on burning to gain this insane amount of damage and damage reduction. So instead, I'll use this along with this, and actually I can use this on the main. This is going to increase my damage against with basic attacks and skill damage. If I go with who? With Kirara, that's gonna be good for skill damage and basic attack damage, but I'm missing a 5% here in comparison. And if I go with Yukina, that's only going to increase the damage of my skills, which isn't that great because I only have one skill that is going to help me out that a lot with damage. So yeah, there's options always. Hell Blaze, Serpent Blaze, Fire Wave. So yeah, you're gonna see. And remember, guys, that I'm using here Heavy Coat, and that's why I can do the poison thing. And I also have the what's the name, Minasaki, on the active slot, so that I can also poison the enemy. Yeah, I think it's Minasaki, the name of that supporter. So look just at this. Just Serpent Blaze tracking the enemies is super useful. And take this. The terror stacks. The terror stacks, yeah. I really hate that they did the weapon with terror in mind, but they focus it on green. It's like, why? Why would you do that? Yeah. And I also don't like that she has terror on red. I would prefer burn on red. But Astaroth is really strong, but it is a mess in the synergies. God. Like, her limited supporter that I show you is red, and it focuses on burn, but Astaroth burns on blue. And then the limited set, the weapon and supporter, are green, and they focus on terror, which is a status that a debuff that is inflicted on red. So yeah, it is convoluted, this character, when you see her thoroughly. So yeah, the supporter is great. Yes. It is easy to use? Yes, for sure. But there's things to take into account if you want to use it properly. That's about it. If you give this supporter to, I don't know, let's say Asagi, yes, Asagi is an excellent example. If you give the supporter to Asagi, you're not gonna get that much value out of it. If you give this supporter to Sakura, well, she's workable, but not a great idea. Same can be said about Sue. Well, Sue has the awakening skill, but she's not gonna get carried only with the awakening skill, right? So you want something with big AoEs. Rinko is a great option because of those multi-hits and big AoEs. She's great. But what does she do on red now? Let's see. Just curious. This one. Oh yeah, the weird hits. Not bad, yet not great for what we're looking for. We want something like Wind Slice. That's the thing. Spatial Reef is also a great combination so that you can focus all those enemies, but against the spiders, that's not great because they are range attackers. So as I mentioned, there's like many things that you want to, many bits of information that you want to keep in mind, depending on the size of the stage, the pattern, the attack pattern and movement of the enemies, what kind of enemies you're facing, their HP, like, because you want to specifically kill them with those characters. the kind of attacks that you deal, the kind of if you have tracking or not in your abilities. So yeah, um, should you roll for this character, for this supporter? With coins, yeah, sure. If you want to, I suggest that you wait until this is about to leave to see if there's a campaign for Double Desire, to see if there's not gonna be something even better. Just to check. It is definitely better than rolling for this weapon. Yeah, it's definitely better than rolling from Lapis weapon. Lapis weapon, I mean, it's not bad. It's just that it's not a 70% damage increase. So yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe like, share, blah blah blah, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.